Am I shaking? Hello. So, been watching a documentary about the what? The Roman Empire. I don't know. I think my phone is quite old. My camera is not very clear. I'm just taking off this sweater. I've gotten back to one of my hobbies, which was crochet. Do you say crocheting or crocheting? I think it's supposed to be crocheting. Why do I look so small? Let me wipe the camera. Hi, good evening. To my love, where were you yesterday? I was waiting for you yesterday. You did not show up. You abandoned me. How are you? How are you doing? I'm making a top like this crochet tops. Let me show you. Where is my history? Where is it supposed to be? I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm also doing well. Where am I? I'm currently cooking supper. I had like a whole. There were things I was making yesterday, and I didn't even like eat them. Now I'm eating today. 2, 3. I have not a lot. I have some crocheting things I used to do, like projects. Are they called projects? I never finished some. Um, yeah, this thing is usually tricky because you have to make sure you are counting these things and they have to be accurate. Otherwise, whatever you are making will turn out very weird. Sina story. Maybe tell me what do you want to hear from me? I was just bored, so I decided to come live. And because I stay in the house almost all the days, all all day. But today, like in the evening, I went out to the supermarket, got a few things. I only go out in the evening like once, maybe twice a week, unless I really have something to do. What's my history? Like, do you stay in Juja? Or where do you stay? Ama you come to Juja like once, what's in a while? On Monday, what am I supposed to do on Monday? I think I'm supposed to go somewhere on Monday, but I'm not yet sure. I've been having some issues I'm supposed to solve them. Being an adult is not easy. Where do you stay? Like, do you stay in Juja? If you say you're here on Monday, I've been eating a lot of blue band. I'm getting more pimples. Oh, Kasarani. Oh, okay. Are you graduating? Nyinyi watu wa kupitapita, but you said you graduated last year. I was in, not Kasarani, I was in Allsops like a few days ago. Not a few, yeah, I think like 4 days ago. My sister stays in Allsops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like it was so random that the day I decided to go like to Juja and you were there. Ah, is this teachers? Is this teachers if you miss, like if you forget where you were, you are supposed to start again. Now if I talk and I forget to count, si hadi mi nilikuja kukaa Juja because I've been like here, but I came because my roommate, ule mwenye mlikuwa mnaongea na yeye in the chat, my roommate was in Juja and she told me like the place she was working they were hiring, so I just moved to Juja and then I went to the place and they were not hiring anymore. So I just kind of stayed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But I think I'll move somewhere else. I'll move like mnisongee huko Kasarani, nitakuja kukaa huko. I don't know where to move. No, I wasn't like, I stayed with her the first month when we were like waiting for the time to be right when the hiring was ongoing and everything, and I said, why don't I just move out and then I can find something to do. 1, 2, guy Warren, unaniconfuse teachers zangu. Hey, is this supposed to be number 1? Wait, you're confusing me. Unani blind. I don't stay with anybody. Ndio maana nawambianga like I usually get bored. That's why I decide to come online to do these lives so that I can talk like a mad person. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hi, Mr. Kai. Hi, I remember you. How are you doing? Was it? Yeah, I think so. How are you? I'm making a top. Thank you for liking the video. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I should be able to finish this thing today. This is the top I'm making. I don't know if it's visible. Like, is it visible? This one, this green one. And you like the video, but you like me. Why don't you like it? Also, you don't like me. You don't. Today, I'm a very funny person. I don't know, something fell on one of my eggs and then it cracked. So I thought my egg was hatching and I was like, I'm going to have a little chick. I'm going to raise a baby chicken. But it turns out I think something just fell on it and then it cracked. So I was like googling. If you can see, like there is a video here. This one. I was googling to see how what are they called? How eggs look when they are hatching, and then I just found out mine is a crack. Let me show you the top I'm making. Meta ads. I'm making this top. Can you see it? Yeah, I'm making such a top, and it's called Peekaboo Crochet Halter Top. That is what I'm making. I think like 3 tops that I made for myself and 2 pairs of bikini that I made for myself. I just usually make them and I don't actually like I've never worn them. Utanipeleka vacation Mombasa? Eh? I was supposed to go to Mombasa. What happened? Life happened. I decided to move out instead. Yes. I am very very skilled. Let me show you like I don't know if I can find. Wait a minute. No, I can't show you those other ones. I have a bag. I give my nephew, not my nephew, my niece a bag. I have this one. Now you won't even know how it's supposed to be worn. This one I made it very long ago. This one is where you just tie it like yeah. No, 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 no. Haka nika. What are they called? Dede. I'm not supposed to show you the dedes. Anyway, this is like a bikini thing. A bikini thing. I have this one, and I have the top. I have a lot of them. There was another one I was making, the top. Can you see the difference between these? Yes. This one is cream, is it creamish? And then this one is white. So I was making a white top and then I went to get some more yarn and I got cream and you can't use them because I didn't, you know. Then I have this one. I have the top for this one. It's somewhere. I don't know. Yeah. And I have a lot of small things that I just usually make, but it has been long. It has been very long since I last made something. And there is another blue one. I forgot. Wait, give me a minute. There is another are they usually called ndede or what are they called? This one and the top. What else? This one. This is my favorite because I really like this color and I think it turned out really nicely. This one light like this. I am very talented. Like I have very many talents. How is it supposed to be? Like why am I showing you? You can buy, eh? Buy for your girlfriends, okay? Yeah. It's really nice, like it has a very beautiful color and the pattern came out really nice and clean. Yeah. Acha nizime mchele yangu, my mchele is ungwaring. It's not yet dry. Dry. There is some antibiotics that I'm taking. Wait, hey, I'm supposed to take them like two times in a day. That medicine makes me sick. Like literally, if I take it right now, I get a headache immediately, and then I feel nauseous and I feel dizzy. It's so annoying. I don't know why I got strawberry yogurt. I should 40 bob. Msiniambie. Acha nizime sasa. I don't know why nowadays I love going out with open shoes and they make me. Mimi nimekuwa hapa na kuonyesha mabra zenye umeulizia if I'm talented na umeenda kukula. Why are you eating? Why are you eating? Nimesha kujamia. Am I even doing the right thing here? I think so. Wait. No. Hizi stitches zinasumbua mtu. You're a man, why are you feeling hungry? Guy, nimesahau. I don't know what to do here. Am I supposed to make 3? Am I supposed to make 8? Let me make 3 and then I'll see. 1, 2, 3. Double. Let me see how it turns out and then I'll know if I've done the right thing. Imeharibika. Yeah. It doesn't really look nice here. Ama nilikuwa naenda which direction? These things. I think I'm supposed to be going to this side, but nimerudi nyuma. Whatever. Unakula nini? Tell us. What are you eating? Nimekuwa na spoon hapa. What are you eating? Hebu nitoe specs. Nitoe specs. Nitasoma aje? Nitasonga hivi. Hey, I'm supposed to undo this hair because why is it looking like this? It's like 2 weeks old. Nidanganye. Unakula nini? I'm just a girl. Fish. Your cousins from the lake. Hizo ni omena hizo. You're eating omena. Bidii, I have omena. What? I think they've stayed here for like a month. Hata sijaifungua karatasi. I'm supposed to make them. I'll plan on a day to feast on them. What do you do in Kasarani? Tell us. It's now your interview. It's your interview. It's not fish. But then juzi nilipika samaki and then I left it like I didn't finish it because it was a bit big. nikaacha hadi the next day, and the way I usually postpone my lunch, nikaacha hadi ikafika like jioni, nikapata imeanza kunuka. Nilikuwa nauliza unakuja Juja kufanya nini? Why are you in Juja? If you are not a resident and you're not a student. What business do you have? Biashara. Na sijaipata pesa yangu. Hey, why do I keep forgetting? I was supposed to I was supposed to get my birthday gift. Why did you disappear to? Ni mwongo. Yadanganya. Unafanya nini huko? Where's my birthday gift? I want my birthday gift. Nisema mkebe ya yogurt lazima ing'are. Nimeanza kunaona. My previous house was so depressing. It didn't even have like lights. But the yangu itafika na ilipita. Look at this boy. Young man. When is my birthday? What are we? Ebu, I'm waiting for you. Press live. Come to real time because I want to address you, and I want you to respond in real time. Press live. I don't know if you're watching from the phone or the laptop. You're some minutes behind. I want to talk to you. You're telling me my birthday is not yet here. When is my birthday? But the yangu ilishapita. It's almost a week. Is it a week already? Yes, it's in fact a week. My birthday was on 23rd. And you have lied to me 3 times. Fear men. Thank you. Hey, my glasses look strong. How? When you're not live, like you're responding in messages, unless there is a delay, but I haven't set, like sometimes you can set to have a delay, but I haven't put a delay in messages. Thank you for liking my glasses. They're the most expensive thing I have on my body, right? But not really. I am more expensive. I had very funny specs. Where are they? They're not here. And my niece came over. She left her glasses here. She also has. Maybe let me try on her glasses. I can see a very clear future. This is my Hey, this one's. Oh my god, that's so weird. I don't know. They have. I don't even know what they have, but they're just weird. Apparently, she left them here. She got these specs like this year. She left them here because she says one side is tilted. She was supposed to come and get them, but she hasn't yet. Eh, zinafanya like I don't know what they're doing to the eyes, but I see the future very clearly. Flabbergasted. By the way, it's so funny that like people, you guys who don't put on specs, how can you be like able to see so clearly? I have specs to help me, but I still can't see like as well as someone who just uses their natural eyesight. It's not fair. I remember the first time I got specs, and I went to get the specs with my mom. I was using her insurance. I was around 16, 15 or 16. I think I was 16. And I didn't put on, like, the doctor told me not to wear them until I got home because I might fall because I'm not used to them. So I got home, it was like on a very sunny afternoon, and I got home, go into the house, and my dad was there, and he said, okay, you can put them on. And they tell me, can you go like look outside, see if you can see anything different? And I looked, like, you know the way our home is, it is kind of slanted, and then there is a bit of a stream, and then the other side, like our rural home, the other side there is another village, and it's slanting upwards. So I looked that way, and I could see the leaves and the trees very clearly, and they were so green. I was like, is this how this place usually looks? Like, I was just amazed, baffled. I didn't know, like, I used to think, you know, the way people paint trees, the leaves just together, not defined. That is how I used to see trees, and I used to notice how they look like. But now, looking at them, and I was like, I can see the leaves. Like, what do you mean? And I can see all this color. It was a fantastic, amazing what? Discovery. Nimekuchagua wewe. I usually, I don't know why I usually find myself singing that song. A lot, a lot. Nikupende, mama, nisipende mwingine. Moyo wangu ni mwepesi, umenikalia chapati, nafanya vitu kama mm, 3, 8. I think I've noticed where I did the wrong stitches, and I just have to go back. Wait, what happened here? 3, then 8. See, I was going to the wrong side. Moyo wangu ni mwepesi, umenikalia chapati, nafanya vitu rahisi, itabidi niko mahali, tabasamu lako mzuri mama. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Single crochet here. Hey, is this what I'm supposed to do really? No. Skip, double crochet at the end. Let me show you what I'm doing. Why is it like that? Upright. Why is it always that I don't charge my phone until I decide to come on live and the phone is dying? Katetemeka nchi yote, makaburi yakafunguka. Let me continue listening to my documentary. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Oh, the Colosseum. it's an extended series of games.
When Trajan succeeds the Roman Empire, Rome is at its greatest. It's vast, it's successful, it's rich. And Trajan really personifies that, the energy, the success, and the sophistication of this extraordinary institution.
Under his leadership, the Roman Empire reaches its greatest territory, 2 million square miles.
Stretching from Britannia in the west to Syria in
It
the
was
east,
less called Britannia,
the 50 million
but it
subjects
was
of Rome
Britain.
believe in a wide array of different religions and gods.
I think I'll make a cake
But one
tomorrow.
underground spiritual
I want
movement
to
in
bake a
particular
cake.
is gaining momentum.
The number of Christians is growing, and what started as a very small movement based around Jerusalem has now spread across the empire.
Dear Lord, protect our brother Ignatius from those who do evil to him.
Christians. And they see a few of their high priests eaten by lions. They'll turn to our gods.
The Romans see Christianity as a threat because of its promise to undermine Roman conceptions of how power and authority were supposed to work.
A prominent Christian leader is brought to Rome to be killed, most likely in the city's amphitheater.
Ignatius of Antioch is clearly the target of Trajan's anger because he was arrested and brought to Rome to be executed by being fed to lions, probably in the Colosseum. Yet these people show disrespect to the emperor and the Roman state. That's sedition, and for that they should be killed.
Public executions were supposed to teach a lesson to those who witnessed them. The fate of Christians who persisted in their belief was a capital offense. It was a death penalty offense.
But this will be no ordinary execution.
Ignatius is convinced that he's going to die violently.
Ignatius.
This is okay with him because Ignatius wants to follow the model of Christ. Ignatius is willing to do this, to die, just like Jesus, to be martyred. While Ignatius is on his way to Rome, he's able to write 7 letters, and it's because of these letters that we know who he is.
These are first-person accounts of what's happened to him, how he feels about it, why he thinks it matters or might make a difference.
The cheers of the crowd above. Darkness and heat below. One couldn't think of a worse place to be.
There would have been hundreds, if not 1,000 people, along with all of these animals, cramped together in the Hypogeum. You can imagine what this would have been like for Ignatius.
I shall fear evil, for thou art with me.
Is he going
Thy
to die
rod
with
and thy
grace?
staff, they comfort
Or
me.
is he going to end up some grisly carcass on the Colosseum floor?
But why were the Romans like so obsessed with executing people? Maybe that is why the population is currently so low.
Citizens of Rome, marvel at the worst criminals as they experience the true power of the empire.
The Roman judicial system was class-driven. Very, very high standards. You would be allowed to do it in some way that was quick and easy and relatively painless.
Hi.
So we have the expression in English being thrown to the lions. We use it sort of metaphorically, right? But it was very literal in the Roman Empire. People actually were thrown to the lions.
Christians, when they see a few of their high priests eaten by lions, they'll turn to our gods.
So we have Ignatius's own words because of his letters, and they can really help us to get into his mind.
Bring on the fires, the cross, the horns, the wild beasts.
The whole phenomenon of Christian martyrdom is absolutely massive in the Roman mind. Cannot understand it, just as they cannot understand the sort of joy that they see in the faces of the martyrs in the amphitheaters. We say things like, he wants to be torn apart by the wild beasts, he wants to be ground like bread between the teeth of the lion. The language in it is extraordinarily strong and severe, real sense of wanting to die, wanting to suffer.
Hi.
The wrenching of my bones, the dicing of my limbs. He knows that dying as a martyr is actually going to do far more in spreading the gospel than just standing there and preaching. And so when they see this martyr just stand there and die gracefully, willingly, they're going to ask, what does he believe? And when they find out, oh man, Christianity is going to begin to spread.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me put it into this one. The blue.
The Romans planned to make an example of Ignatius. This was about to completely backfire.
There are great stories of Christians being thrown before the beast, before the lions,
This
and
is
the lions devouring them. The lions lie down at their feet. Who doesn't like that idea of a lion who's supposed to tear you apart and instead rolling over to get a belly rub instead of eating you?
Please subscribe.
He held to his beliefs and died for it. Why? For something he believed in. And that must have been astounding to the Romans.
In the 1st century AD, Rome is the biggest city on earth, with a population of more than 1 million people. Now, after 8 years of construction, the largest amphitheater in the ancient world
1,
has just
2,
opened.
3.
The Colosseum in Rome is one of the most iconic structures in the history of humanity.
The new emperor, Titus, is a warrior who inherited the throne less than a year ago. The empire he now commands began with Rome's founding as a powerful city-state in 753 BC. It
Please
conquers the
subscribe,
Italian
guys.
peninsula, then ancient Greece, Greece, the seafarers of Carthage, the pharaohs of Egypt, and by 80 AD, most of Western Europe. To mark the Colosseum's opening, Titus lines up a fight to the death between two of the empire's best-known gladiators, Rome's champion Varus and the barbarian Priscus.
They're the prime athletes of ancient Rome. And that specific moment, you could say that they are the heavyweight champions of the Roman Empire. What we know about the fight comes to us from just one source, but it's a really important source. It's the Roman poet Martial, who was a spectator of the games. He actually saw this fight and saw how it played out.
Martial's poem is the only surviving account of its kind. The fight he records captures some of the contradictions of Rome. Its combatants are celebrated, but they are also enslaved.
Can you imagine if you are a gladiator from Germany and you look up at the imperial box, there is Rome's emperor in the flesh with the power of life and death over you? Well, that must have been an overwhelming experience. The emperor's presence in the imperial box was absolutely key. The emperor could see everyone and everyone could see him.
The games are all about Roman emperors giving the people what they need, and it's always described as bread and circuses. They had to feed people, Rome, but once they were fed, they had to be entertained.
Let the games begin!
The schedule is an astonishing festival of death.
The standard sequence of events was as follows. In the morning is when you had the Venatio days, the beast combats.
6, 7, 8.
At noon, the Meridiani. This is when the executions of criminals condemned to death took place in ways that were memorable. And in the afternoon is when you had the Pericles, the gladiators, the ones that entertained most of the people.
1, 2,
When we are there, you are my friend.
6,
You are not my brother.
8.
You are my enemy. There are huge stakes for Priscus and Varus. The pressure must have been incredible. They
1,
are the headlining fight.
3.
And they will walk into that arena knowing that one of them
Double.
may not walk out of their life.
Gladiators enter the arena through the Porta Sana Bavaria, the gate of life. If victorious, they lead the same way. If defeated, they exit through the Porta Libitina, the gate of death. The winner will be given a rubus, a wooden staff given as a trophy, which symbolizes his freedom.
So the stakes couldn't be higher. It's death or freedom. Imagine having a huge metal pot essentially on your head. You can't breathe. Your eyesight's limited. You're lifting a heavy shield. You've got 35 to 40 pounds of armor. The noise of the crowd, the heat, your heart pumping. And remember, you're fighting for your life on top of that. It's going to take nerves of steel. But if you fight bravely enough and the emperor graces you, is the chance of being free, of becoming a citizen, of becoming someone normal.
supposed to be 14 now.
They battled to a brutal draw. Now each was dead on his feet, but Caesar was bound by the letter of his own law. The rules were clear. There had to be a winner, and only a raised finger could stop the bout.
If the gladiator is wounded, he's down on the sands, he can lift his finger and ask for missio, ask for survival.
What Marshall says is that they both submitted, and the crowd don't know what to make of it.
One star, one winner.
The outcome of the games is ultimately decided by the emperor, but he's there to please the audience. It's very rare that the emperor's going to go against the people because he does not want to be unpopular. And the crowd, you can imagine, are going wild. Some of them would have been cheering for Priscus, some cheering for Paris. What's the emperor going to do? He might say, well, you both submitted. You should both die. Ultimately, Titus is going to have to make a decision, but he cannot go against his word. There is only one staff. And that means there can only be one winner! Holding the rudis, this symbol of liberty, Titus is literally holding their life and death in his hands.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
To you both. Champions of Rome! Titus ultimately doesn't designate one the winner and one the loser. Both were the victors. Victors, in this case, over death. Titus is stealing the limelight, but he's showing that he is ultimately in charge of life and death over everybody. And if you fight well, if you serve him well, if you're loyal to the emperor, then you will be rewarded.
Titus has used his political instincts to turn a potential embarrassment into a triumph.
It's a culmination of power, of control, of distraction. It's everything really the Colosseum stood for. Imagine what it must feel like for Priscus and Varus. Overwhelming relief, pride, joy, and they will have been conscious that they're going to be remembered forever. And here we are still talking about them.
By 192 AD, the Colosseum is over a century old. Emperor Commodus has a surprise. He's the headline bout, fighting as a gladiator.
Gladiators were at the lowest strata of free Romans. They had no legal personality. They were the same category as prostitutes and pimps. So for a Roman emperor to try to leverage Romulus, the Colosseum would become an obsession, a place that would play a pivotal role in his rise and fall.
After inheriting a vast and powerful empire from his father, the great Marcus Aurelius,
Humans like getting food because every day they were just in
The senators remain
museums.
the most powerful body of people, the very embodiment of the
Progress.
elite of Rome. The Senate
This
would always be the rallying place of opposition.
The Roman elite was ashamed of Commodus's actions. They felt that to fight as a gladiator was to willingly debase himself. This was the tipping point in an already fractured relationship between the two most powerful forces, the emperor and the senate. Every one of these senatorial families has holdings all over the Roman Empire. They're the equivalent of small multinational corporations. They are wealthy in a way that is impossible for us to understand. So even if the heart of political power has moved elsewhere, these are still tremendously important people. And so the Senate is dangerous.
several emperors had previously been destroyed by their enemies in the Senate, including the notorious leaders Caligula, Nero, and Domitian.
Emperor Evil.
The history of Rome's emperor shows that it's pretty dangerous to cross the Senate. But Commodus had a plan, and it really was to ignore the Senate and to appeal directly to the people.
To win the people over, Commodus has an incredible tool at his disposal. He has the games.
Less than a year into his reign, Commodus throws lavish games to celebrate the end of his father's barbarian wars.
Because it was such an important event, imperial families such as his sister Lucilla would be there. And of course the Senate themselves, they would have been witness to this event. For the Senate, they understand that this is an absolute joke. Trifle games were put on at the end of great wars fought for many years, wars that established the power of Rome. This was the opposite of that, and yet here he was parading himself as some sort of triumphant general.
But it's not the Senate Commodus is trying to impress.
Emperors could communicate with the people in the Colosseum. In those days, you didn't see the emperor very much except in triumphs after great victories abroad, and in the Colosseum where he appeared in his box. And the crowd had a chance to express what they thought he would do.
The Colosseum fostered an active, dynamic relationship between the people and the emperor. And one can imagine thousands and thousands of people chanting what they want, encouraging the emperor in what he's doing, and sponsoring and being generous, and putting on a show for them.
It was kind of like a contract. I am giving these games to you. You need to honor me.
It's extraordinary for an emperor to take to the sands himself. This is not something that's expected of elites, let alone the emperor. Gladiators use their bodies to please the masses. So they are like prostitutes. They are like actors.
It would have been hard for the ruling class to accept any of Commodus's actions. They were cultured people, they were educated. And so the fact that one of them would degrade himself to that degree that he's going to present himself in the same profession of the scum of the scum.
According to Cassius Dio, Commodus charges the bankrupt Roman treasury 1 million sesterces for his appearance, almost $10 million in today's money.
after the games, Commodus embarks on a still grander project. He intends to rebuild Rome with himself at the center.
He renames Rome Colonia Commodiana, the colony of Commodus. And we wouldn't believe that this was true if it were not for the fact the coins of Commodus' era showed that this was the case. He really did name it after himself.
Commodus goes into overdrive. The Romans are going to be called Commodiani. The Senate is going to be called the Fortunate Commodiani Senate. He fills the city with statues of himself, dressed as the god Hercules.
One was a giant figure of an archer, looking very much like the emperor himself, with a arrow aimed right at the front door of the Roman Senate. And if there was ever a louder political message, well, I'm not aware of it.
That could not be tolerated, even by Commodus's world-weary contemporaries.
When Commodus announces yet another games with himself as the star, the Senate know they must act.
Commodus meets his end at the hands of his gladiatorial trainer, the hands of Narcissus, acting on the orders of the Senate.
There's a sort of poetic irony that in the end it was the very figure that he so admired, so wanted to be, that put an end to his life.
83 AD, the opening day of a new series of games that Emperor Domitian promises will be dazzling. The headline, the most extravagant beast hunt Rome has ever seen.
The beast hunts were much more than just fighting animals. It was a way to demonstrate Roman control over the entire world, both the human world and also the natural world. Domitian really wanted to demonstrate that he was master of all.
Domitian is a real contrast to his brother and father. While his father, Vespasian, had been a bluff man of the people, and Titus had been charming and suave, Domitian was all harshness.
From Domitian's perspective, to follow his father Vespasian, his elder brother Titus, that was a difficult act. In terms of military prowess, in terms of their popularity. So Domitian had to strike out in a different direction to win the goodwill of the Roman Empire. He decides to use the power of the Colosseum by putting on the greatest show that anyone had ever seen.
At the center of this deadly spectacle, one man, a famed beastmaster, or bestiarius, charged with facing 20 wild beasts, one after the other.
Most of them weren't successful long enough for us to learn their name. But there was one beastmaster that the poet Martial mentions. His name is Harpophilus.
To have caught the attention of a poet of Martial's caliber, the fight must have been incredible.
Beastmasters were enslaved people, so therefore they were also a display of Roman domination over the people subjected by the Roman Empire.
These games will be bigger, bolder, and better than anything Rome has ever witnessed. The Emperor has requested one beastmaster to be the main event of the morning opening. A fight with 20 beasts, one after another. The man Rome demands is
see, everybody's vying for that one spot. It's a very narcissistic sport. And what we know is that they really hated each other in certain levels, or entreating the gods to do nasty things to other beast hunters.
Bind Gallicus, the son of Prima. Let the bear crush him and wound him.
I'm sorry, my friend. The gods will decide our fate now.
The commencement of the games was a major deal for the city of Rome. These took place on holidays. A great portion of the population would have had the day off.
I think it's impossible to overstate the kind of excitement and energy of a crowd that's been pent up to see blood. The buzz would have been building for months. By the time at least 50,000 people made their way to the Colosseum and packed themselves in.
You can imagine for someone like Carpacus beneath the floor of the amphitheater and waiting for his turn to go up and fight these 20 beasts. This is an opportunity of a lifetime.
You can imagine the stink of fear, the smell of wild animals. Everything is ready to go. You can hear the buzz of the crowd above.
There's almost like a religious aspect to the lion. He's this revered animal, much as the eagle was to the Romans. He's the top predator. He's the top of the food chain. And that, for the Romans, is a representation of Rome.
The lion has always been a symbol of strength and ferocity in many ancient societies. They appeared in the palaces of Babylonian kings and in the courts of Alexander the Great. But what the Romans do is they import lions in their thousands. The Romans, as ever, try to go one step further than civilization that went before them. So they're saying it's not just that we can kill lions, it's that we can mass slaughter the most ferocious and powerful creature that Mother Nature has to offer.
Yeah, I'm making a top. How are you doing? Hola, Melekan. It's a top. Let me show you. Let me show you the inspo. It's called the inspo. This one.
The topmost side of the top. So attach your yarn to the
You think all paracetamol is the same? Panadol Advance, with its unique Optizol technology, releases medicine
button for the top
I'm
is
making
also
this one.
available on all my online shops. You can check out all the details in the description box below. And yeah, we
It's
also
better
have
than
the
making.
pickable crochet shirts if that's something that interests you. So let's jump right into the materials for this project. And for the sizes, we're going to learn how to make this top from size extra small to size 2XL. That is the scope of the sizing that I'm using for this top. So let's begin. Let's get started.
geological treasures on the planet.
Oh, that's a fabulous one.
Beneath this desert landscape lie the sea.
My name is Jeremy Wade, freshwater detective, explorer, and angler. I've been fishing the world for decades, but it's the Amazon that keeps calling me back.
The
Now I'm
Amazons.
returning to South America on the mission of a lifetime, to spend an entire year going further, deeper,
Hey,
and
cheers,
more
I
remote
need to
than I've ever
eat
been
and sleep.
before,
Please
in search
subscribe.
of the river monsters of the Amazon.
Let's see. I want to
I've
finish this
uncovered
row.
reports of 3
Then
mysterious
I can
deaths in the
sleep.
northern
I
part of
can
the
eat
Amazon.
fast.
In each case, the lifeless body was recovered with strange injuries. Locals are pointing the finger of suspicion at something living in the water. But on the lawless frontier between Colombia and Brazil, is it really a fish that's responsible? I'm on a mission to find the truth behind the mystery, on a river system that forces me to question everything I know. I've based my career on investigating extraordinary claims from all over the world. Pack hunter massacres, underwater flesh rippers, even tales of men swallowed whole. But nowhere seems to hold as much intrigue and mystery as right here in the Amazon. 3 bodies in 3 Amazon countries, 3 unexplained deaths, 1 deadly signature. But what was responsible? The 3 attacks occurred in the region of the Amazon where Brazil, Peru, and Colombia meet. Leaving my boat at the Brazilian port of Tabatinga, I'm on the trail of my first case. A bizarre death at a rural school, just 10 miles away. Originally a Portuguese settlement and military outpost, Tabatinga now lays dubious claim to being the main entry point for Colombian cocaine into Brazil.
I'm on my way to meet an eyewitness to this incident that I heard about. This is someone who apparently retrieved the teacher's body from the water. But to meet him, I've got to cross the border into Leticia in Colombia.
There's a heavy military presence. And my claim that I'm crossing the border in search of a fish raises some eyebrows.
Okay? Okay, forget it.
I'm allowed to pass
6,
and continue to the school where the incident occurred, where a man named Walter is waiting for me. Walter was just a boy when it happened. The man who died was his teacher, and Walter leads me down to the riverbank where the body was recovered.
Abbiamo 24 chicos che stavano
supposed to be 3.
There were 20-odd lads playing football.
Those are signs of being tired.
And at the end of the game, to cool off, they came down here with the teacher. It's been years since it happened, but as Walter talks, it's almost as if it were yesterday. The time of year that it happened was high water, so the water was actually up and around here. Walter and his friends swam for a while before venturing into the forest, leaving their teacher in the water. They didn't see what happened next.
A buscar al propulsor, nos regamos aquí. And they found his body right here.
Lo revisamos y tenía una marca negra.
Mancha negra.
Sí.
He said the first thing that they noticed was this dark mark on his chest. Was that almost like a bruise, like something hit him?
No, fue una quemadura.
He said it's more like a burn, almost from friction possibly, but
I watched very weird documentary.
La quemada o
It's called River Monsters.
o la anguilla. Temblón es un pez, son largos, grandes. Cuando ellos tienen contacto con uno, tiran un corrientazo.
Now to me that sounds like an electric eel. I've come across those before. I know that they can kill people, but that's one detail here that doesn't really stack up. A strange dark mark on the teacher's chest. I've never heard of an electric eel causing such wounds. Could the trauma actually have been the result of foul play? Or perhaps some other kind of creature? But what lives in the water that can burn you? With the help of a local boatman, I head out onto the water. Could whatever's responsible be one of the dozens of new species discovered each year in the teeming waters of the Amazon? Within minutes, there's activity. Right, there was a tug. And that's now missing its tail. That was a piranha, he's taken that off.
Piranha.
Piranhas are an all too familiar problem when fishing the Amazon, but I have a solution. I switch to a tough plastic lure. Hopefully, I'll have more luck with this.
Hello, please subscribe.
Almost immediately, my
Crocheting.
change in tactics is rewarded. Very aggressive piranha there, taking this very noisy, large lure on the surface. It's a perfect opportunity for an experiment.
Right. I'm just going to see if we can demonstrate how sharp those teeth are.
This is 300-pound breaking strain Kevlar, the same material used to make bulletproof vests.
Just get some in here. Hey, that's impressive.
Its teeth slice effortlessly through the Kevlar. But what about woven steel?
Huh.
It's a sobering reminder of the flesh-slicing potential of these prolific predators. On those rare occasions when piranhas do attack, it's death by 1,000 cuts. Walter described his teacher's wounds in quite some detail, and there was no mention of bite marks, blood, or injury dealt by human hand.
This is just flesh and bone. It just goes to show what an arms race it is under the water here.
Could that arms race have produced a fish capable of inflicting these mysterious injuries? I've heard about a second unusual death, this one more recent. Tomorrow, I'll track down the witness. Daybreak, I leave Colombia and take a boat into Peruvian territory, to the island of Santa Rosa, where last year another attack occurred, bearing the same deadly signature. The victim was this man's younger brother. Jack leads me to the rear of the family home. This is where they found the body. It was a normal day, just like any other. His brother was told by his father to go and check a fishing net that was set some way away. It was high water, and he left the house And then some time later, the rest of the family just realized it's been a while, he should be back by now. The family became worried. Jack suddenly noticed that the canoe was floating empty.
It's so funny about how these things are usually revealed.
As he pulled his brother's body from the water, he made a shocking discovery.
Levantamos él.
He bore an unusual black mark across his chest. Marca negra.
Sí, exactamente.
So what did the hospital actually say?
Es temblón. De un temblón. Es un animal muy peligroso que está en el agua, uno hay que precaucionar.
Jack also seems to be describing an electric eel. People here are very clear that these black burn marks are the work of the Templars. The witnesses blame a fish they call the temblon. Not only is this a new name to me, but I've never heard of a fish capable of burning human skin. Did you actually see anything in the water yourself?
Dentro del agua ya no había nada.
But neither witness actually caught sight of the creature responsible. Still without a solid lead, I do what I know best and get out onto the water, which has now receded from around the houses. What monsters could be hiding here? Things are strangely quiet in this oppressive heat. All I'm managing to attract are butterflies, lured in by the salt in my sweat. Plenty of activity above the water line. I just wish the same was true underneath the water. Could whatever's on my line shed light on the stories I've been hearing? What was I saying? That's quite frightening. What's that? What's that?
Hey, I think I'm like quite away. We'll continue later. Later, my crochet.
I'm holding it quite firmly because on this fin here, there's a very, very sharp spine. And it's actually got
I
backward
need to
facing
serve my food.
barbs coming down as well. So if it wriggles and sticks that in you, it's actually pretty painful.
I'm also supposed to
Which
get
I
some.
know all too well. The spines are coated in a sticky mucus.
This medicine. It makes me feel so
Which
sick.
causes severe pain.
Oh,
This is a fish that can stab and draw blood, but no way can this cause the ones that I've been hearing about, those burn marks. This is a good sign then, something's starting to burn. There's no shortage of Amazon fish that can inflict injury. From piranhas with their razor-sharp teeth, and catfish with their wicked spines, to venomous stingrays and monsters with mouths big enough to swallow you whole. But the wounds being described
oh my god.
are baffling. Nothing I've ever seen could cause those. With
Hi.
no witnesses to either actual attack, and having caught no
Please
potential
subscribe.
suspects, I leave Peru and slip back into
What is the
Portuguese-speaking
time?
Brazil. The third country in this trio of tragic deaths.
10:44.
There, I meet up with a fisherman named João, who dragged his lifeless friend from the water. Now, this is something that is consistent with those other two stories I heard. There were dark marks on the body, looking just like burn marks.
Hello,
Quanto tempo para mim é
hello.
exatamente o que aconteceu?
Please subscribe.
Dia 5 de setembro.
João and his friend made their way through the forest to a lake they'd fished many times before.
I need to take this medicine
Já pegou muito?
and eat my
Pegou
supper.
muito peixe, muito. Qualquer peixe.
They'd already caught a lot of fish, but they decided to just fish a little bit more. It was a decision that would prove fatal. Joao is holding the net while his friend is actually paying it out. His body shook violently as he disappeared below the water. Crucially, though, Joao is the first of my witnesses to actually see the creature responsible. Joao says what he actually saw was something coming out of the water and wrapping around his friend's head, scaring the creature off with his spear. Joao recovered the body of his friend. Esse animal, que foi? O nome português do peixe? Poraquê. Now that is exactly the same as what in Colombian they call the temblon and what we know in English as the electric eel. All three descriptions completely challenge what I know about the electric eel. Back in Tabatinga, I have a lot to think about, and I run through what I've learned so far. I'm right at the border here between three countries: Brazil, where I'm sitting, Peru, across the river, and just up the riverbank heading upstream, Colombia. And I've now heard a story from each place. So 3 countries, 3 unexplained deaths, 3 mysteries. And with the countries this close together, permeated by the same waterway, it's not impossible that they're going to be linked. Crucially, though, I now have an eyewitness. Joao is a fisherman and says he saw with his own eyes an electric eel attacking his friend. I know from my previous investigations that they can not only kill humans, but large animals too. Their powerful shocks cause paralysis that can lead to drowning. They even have the power to induce a fatal heart attack. But an animal with the power to burn flesh seems impossible to me. I need more evidence, so I
These
head
are the
towards what
vegetables
is
I was
usually a
preparing
hotbed of
today.
action, the fish market. En route, I spot
Carrots,
what I think might make an
French
excellent
peas,
bait.
Irish
They would be quite
potatoes,
good, but I've no idea how I would eat them for a
butternuts.
few days. People eat these. You can cook them if you like, but you can eat them raw. You hold the head and you just eat the rest of it. Very good for your health. Ma primero or they say you hold the head and then you bite the rest of it.
What is that?
Oh, oh.
Oh,
Like pure protein soup.
I'm watching someone, I don't know what kind of little worm they're eating.
These things are actually still alive. It's quite easy to feel sentimental, you know, maybe put them out of their misery, but the thing is, in a climate like this, when it's really hot, they just go bad. So you want them to stay fresh to eat.
Hello. Please subscribe.
It's a really big
Okay?
aeroplane.
Oh, the camera slanted. Wow, look
Right,
at this
he's
fish.
pointing to a hole in its back, and he reckons this was actually harpooned into a hole in its.
Look
Right,
at this
he's
fish.
pointing to.
Wait. Look at this fish. It's so big.
Outbound. Right, he's pointing to
It looks like
a hole
1.5
in its back, and
persons.
he reckons this was actually harpooned.
Wow,
Zambia?
that is so
Awesome.
good.
Okay. Hey, we can just do it. Just about get it off the ground. Two of us. Okay, rapid, easy. Put it down. And this just shows, that's missing. That's the weight that's missing. All of its guts, its gills, its head, and also the scales. All the scales, they add up to a lot of weight as well. They're very heavy, almost bony scales.
A formidable river monster in its own right.
Very roughly, we're talking about a fish here that alive would have weighed about 400 pounds.
A fish capable of using its massive size and weight as a battering ram. But not of causing the strange lesions I keep hearing about.
Hi,
Was that
please
almost like a
subscribe.
bruise, like something hit him?
No. Una quemadura.
Hey, baby.
I ask the fisherman if he knows of any recent incidents, and he directs me to a medic who apparently examined the body of a young man bearing just such injuries. I waste no time and head straight to her clinic. Could she have the answers I need to explain the telltale marks scorched into the victim's skin?
Vou descrever para mim o jeito das marcas.
Mas também eu pude ver, veja só.
Dr. Dacey reviews her old case notes.
Pescador indígena,
The body of an indigenous fisherman was brought to her clinic.
de 3 faixas,
On his chest and back were 3 stripes.
como se fosse fio elétrico.
She said it's almost as if a thick electric cable had been wound around the body.
For an eel to wrap around a person 3 times, it would have to be significantly longer than any electric eel I've seen. Soon after birth, the eels develop electric organs running the length of the body, leaving little room for muscle. They can't wrap or coil around things like a snake can. Could the marks, in fact, be bruising?
Batido? No.
Podia passar até o dedo em cima, via a pele torrada.
She says absolutely no doubt about it. This was a burn, it wasn't a bruise. On close inspection, it was almost as if it had been fried or toasted.
I don't doubt that the wounds were burns, but everything I've learnt about the eel's deadly weapon suggests brief, intense shocks, rather than the sustained power to fry flesh.
Como a gente vê nesse
Dr. Dacey then shows me something I've never seen before. Footage of an electric eel shocking and killing a caiman.
I think what's going on here is this guy's actually, he's caught the electric eel on a line, that's the bait. Cayman looking very interested here, almost sort of hypnotised by it. Hey,
pegou.
and right, the cayman grabbed it by the neck, instant effect, thrashing around, just like somebody grabbing an electric cable.
Total paralisado por aquela descarga elétrica.
This creature is completely overpowered.
It's a terrifying sight, and if this eel's deadly shocks are capable of penetrating the thick reptilian armour of a caiman for such a long time, is it possible that I've drastically underestimated what the electric eel is capable of?
Uma coisa incrível, né?
Por algumas histórias, por exemplo, os indígenas Tupi,
Dr. Dacey says if I really want to understand the electric eel, there's an indigenous tribe called the Matisse that I should visit. Instead of avoiding these creatures, they catch them to eat.
Now, normally these people, they live very remote from here, not easy to talk to, but there's a guide, apparently called Bushi. He's from the Matisse tribe and he lives, at the moment, he's in a town called Atalaya, which is only about 10 miles from here.
Bushi may be my only chance of contacting this remote tribe. Do they really eat electric eels? And if so, how do they avoid the deadly shocks during the catch?
So, Jeremy,
É um prazer, Jamie,
tem
conhecer.
5 minutos para conversar?
Ah, se posso sim conversar. Sim. Senta aí, Jamie. Conversar.
Eu já ouvi falar que eles
peixe mais gostoso do que pra gente, é favorito pro povo matiz, é bom.
That's interesting. He says, yep, we fish for it to eat it. He says it's actually our favourite fish to eat. Come on, listen to it.
Primeiro pega os buraqué, né? Depois pega com pau, puxa com a mão, é normal.
De mão, às vezes.
Com a mão às vezes. De todo jeito.
Right. This is interesting. They catch them by hand.
A fish that strikes fear throughout the Amazon. A fish known to kill in seconds, the matisse apparently catch with bare hands.
That's something I need to see to believe. Para mim é um pouco incrível. Tem como eu ver os matis pegando?
É difícil de entrar no nosso território.
Bushy is kind enough to consider my request, but says that his tribe lives 500 miles upriver, and that the journey cuts through the territory of aggressive, warring tribes. If that weren't enough, the rivers are getting low, making them hazardous to navigate.
But what he does say, though, is that if we can get there, this is the time of year. The water is low. This is when they fish for the event of year.
As we talk into the night, my excitement and apprehension grow. This must be one of my most ambitious and possibly most dangerous journeys yet. Even if Bushy can persuade the elders to allow my visit, I'll need a medical checkup immediately. The tribe was almost wiped out by disease when they were first contacted by outsiders, and they remain extremely wary.
Isso.
So, Jeremy. Okay.
Vanessa is a nurse who's worked with numerous tribes in this part of the Amazon. She examines me thoroughly for any sign of infection. Even something as simple as a common cold could have disastrous consequences for the tribe.
Engole.
Okay. Yeah, that looks like a clean bill of health. No obvious signs of any infections that I might pass on. So, okay for me to go and visit the Matisse.
The water level is continuing to drop, exposing hazardous tree roots and rocks. There's no time to waste. I decide to leave at first light and head as far as the government base on the edge of the reserve, where I hope permission will be waiting for me. Packing light is not an option. Everything for the arduous trip ahead must come with me and my camera crew. Just the barrels of fuel to get us there weigh in at well over a ton. It's a long and tiring trip, but just a fraction of what might lie ahead. If Bushy's request for permissions has been denied, my journey and investigation are over. It's a big gamble, but with every hour I'm edging closer to the Matisse and their extraordinary knowledge of the electric eel. True to his word, Bushy has secured the permissions, but things are still far from certain.
It's been a real mission just to get here, the boundary of the reserve.
As we prepare to leave the safety of the base, I have no idea what to expect.
Upriver here, the only people there at the moment are indigenous tribes. In terms of outsiders, you're just talking occasional health workers and patrols by Funai themselves. A film crew, that's fairly unusual. This is going to be the first film crew to go to this particular village.
Our passage will take us through the territories of warring tribes, never before contacted by outsiders. The danger is real and present. In the last 20 years, more than 100 agents of the Indian Protection Agency have lost their lives at the hands of indigenous tribes. We race the light to reach the safety of the village before nightfall. But our heavily loaded boats aren't travelling fast enough.
We basically run out of daylight. The village apparently is not very far, but nobody knows exactly how far. And the thing is, it's going to be dark very soon. So rather than risking travelling at night, particularly in hostile territories, we decided to just come in on this beach and camp, which is not an ideal situation.
To
have come so far and to be so close.